It was gala night at the Mirabelle Hotel. Gold chandeliers, silver cutlery, and a grand piano waiting for a maestro who never came. Staff whispered. The manager paced. Guests grew restless. In the back hallway, a cleaner named Clara Lopez wrung water from her mop and kept her head down. She was invisible by profession and by design. Years earlier, Clara had been a prodigy. Conservatory halls, trophies, auditions ending with applause. Then life pressed hard. Her mother fell ill, bills multiplied, and the brightest stages dimmed. Night shifts at the hotel kept lights on while her own stayed quietly burning. In those long months, Clara met Leo. He had a gentle voice, notebooks full of ideas, and a grad student's wallet. He worked nights at a campus desk and tutored weekends, still falling short on rent. Clara noticed, then acted. She paid half his rent for 3 months, slipping envelopes labeled "Breathe." She meal prepped exam boxes so he wouldn't crash. She translated and edited scholarship essays until his voice sang. She bought a transit pass so he could stop the midnight walk. He called her Mi Norte. She called him Mi Fe. They built plans that felt like mourning together. Even before the gala, Clara bridged worlds the way others crossed streets. Spanish at the concierge desk. Buenas noches, el salón es por aquí. French in the elevator. Bonsoir, la salle est tout droit. Italian by the cloakroom. Prego, l'ingresso è lì. Portuguese with a lost couple. A entrada fica a esquerda. English, always patient, always warm. Welcome just ahead. Her voice shaped rooms into refuge. She learned that people relax when they're understood, and that kindness has accents too. Leo watched this quiet fluency and called it magic. Clara just called it work. Tonight, the work was about to sing. They made a ritual of small victories. She marked Leo's drafts with careful notes, circling run-on hopes and underlining the sentences that rang like bells. He brewed coffee too strong and apologized every time. Between paragraphs, she traced chord shapes on the tabletop, mapping melody to meaning. "You're good," she told him. "You're better," he said. It wasn't romance that needed announcing. It was partnership that needed food. When the cafe closed, they walked the long block to the bus, breath in winter clouds, futures tucked into pockets with exact change. A week later, the corridor test arrived. Christabel toured the Mirabelle for the chandeliers, found Clara, and dropped her clutch. Lipstick, coins, powder, mirror scattered across the marble. "Oh no," she said, expression neat. "Would you mind?" Clara knelt, gathered each piece, returned them calmly. Christabel let the mirror slip again. "Clumsy me." Clara picked it up, unbroken. On gala afternoon, she returned with friends. Near the ballroom doors, she tasted a canapé, then let crumbs fall deliberately. "This place needs attention," she murmured, meeting Clara's eyes. Heels clicked away. Pride trailed behind, like an expensive, careless perfume that day. Sometimes, long after midnight, Clara slipped into the closed lounge. No audience, only glassware sleeping in rows, and the city whispering through double doors. She opened the lid, let the bench remember her weight, and played softly, rehearsing honesty more than notes. Left hand, anchor; right hand, reach. She imagined her mother asleep in a quiet apartment and promised to carry the music like groceries, sturdy, necessary, ordinary grace. On the carpet, her work shoes waited like bookends. On the clock, time stopped counting. When the final chord dissolved, she closed the lid, smiled at the silence, and returned the keys. By 7:59, the pianist still hadn't appeared. The manager's voice shook. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're experiencing a slight delay." "Boos, eye rolls," someone muttered. "Play something from YouTube." Clara felt heat rise. She looked at the piano, polished, waiting like unclaimed destiny, remembered her mother's hands and the whisper, "If the door won't open, make the room hear you." She set down the mop. "Sir," she told the manager, softly, "I can play." He blinked. Waiters snickered. Leo watched, torn between pride and fear. Christabel smirked in the stunned crowd. "Give me 5 minutes," Clara said. "If they hate it, I'll disappear." The walk felt longer than the corridor. Clara counted breaths. In on 4, out on 6. The bench held its ground like a small stage inside the larger one. "Play the first true note," she told herself. "Let the room come to you." Leo shifted near the wall, hand half raised, apology unfinished. Christabel examined her cuticles like the night was a mirror. The manager adjusted the mic stand twice, then backed away, finally learning not to narrate what courage already explains. Clara placed her fingers on cool ivory and waited 1 heartbeat longer than comfort. Then she began. The room tightened. Clara didn't start with flash. She started with truth. Left hand steady as a heartbeat. Right hand lifting like a prayer. Conversations died mid-sentence. Glasses halted halfway to lips. The melody grew from river to flood, ember to blaze, classical discipline braided with street corner soul. A lullaby she'd written the week her mother first forgot her name. Then she invited the room in. A playful rhythm emerged. Napkins became percussion. Fingers tapped tabletops. Chandelier crystals trembled. She landed quietly. The kind of ending that makes silence feel sacred. And they listened, held by the charged moment now, completely. In the second theme, an older donor stopped checking his watch. 2 servers, mid-whisper, forgot the punchline and listened. A girl in a green dress swayed without trying. At the bar, a bartender dried the same glass twice, then set it down to hear the cadence land. When the lullaby returned, gentler, a woman near the aisle pressed fingertips to her lips, like memory had arrived. A chandelier crystal flickered on the downbeat, and somebody laughed not at Clara, but at recognition. The room wasn't conquered, it was included. And inclusion feels like rhythm you don't notice until you're moving. Applause burst before the final overtone faded. The manager stared like he'd witnessed a miracle he hadn't ordered. A silver-haired woman stepped forward. "Ana Maria Delgado," she said. "I program festivals. Your cadence, the slight fall at phrase endings, I know that voice." Clara smiled. Old habit. Across the room, Leo remembered every envelope, every meal box, each last bus she caught, so he could keep studying. Regret is quiet until it finally speaks. Christabel clapped late, misreading the market. "Beginner's luck," she announced to nobody in that moment. The room had already chosen its story. The cleaner who saved the gala. In the quieter hallway, Anna spoke like a backstage lamp, steady, unhurried. "You hold tension without squeezing it," she said. "You let silence do some work. That's rare." Clara nodded, absorbing praise like rain after shift. "I'm rusty," she said. "You're ready," Anna corrected. 3 festivals want pianists who sound like people. A pause. Send me 2 recordings. Your lullaby and anything that scares you. Clara blinked. Why the second? Because fear tells the truth about where you're going. A business card changed hands, light as paper, heavy as permission. Somewhere, applause still echoed. It sounded smaller out here. A week later, the video went viral. Not for speed or bravura, but for the moment her face changed when the room fell silent and she realized there was still space for her sound. Offers came. Some asked for gimmick headlines. She refused. Others wanted truth. A debut mixing Chopin with her own pieces, grief with grit, discipline with fire. Those received yes. The Mirabelle offered a lounge slot nightly. She negotiated instead. Artist in residence, 2 nights, her program, her tempo. She kept the uniform folded in a box, not as shame but as a promise to remember where courage grew quickly. The manager printed a draft that looked like every contract she'd never been offered. Nightly slot, setlist suggestions, pay per discretion. Exposure promised like dessert. Clara read every line, then uncapped a pen. 2 nights a week, she said. My program. 30-minute prelude, 40-minute main set, 5-minute bow. No requests. Pay published, not whispered. And I choose the opener. He stared, then shrugged the way people do when learning costs them nothing. Artist in residence, he typed, surprised the keyboard obeyed. Good, Clara said. Also, put the piano technician on a monthly schedule. She smiled. Excellence isn't a rumor. At the festival poster reveal, Leo stood under a streetlight, flowers wrapped in paper that couldn't hide his history. He cued backstage, rehearsing apologies like scales. Clara, he began, you were always this. I was hungry, she finished gently, and afraid. He nodded. I chose the wrong audience. She glanced at the bouquet. Choose better stages. Minutes later, Christabel arrived, smile set. You played well. I underestimated. No, Clara said, voice clean. You looked down. The sentence landed like gravity. Their reflections felt heavier than luggage that night. Undeniable, unavoidable, instructive, humbling, and finally deserved. They both understood everything too late. Word traveled in cheerful, ordinary ways. The bodega cashier asked for an autograph on a receipt. A school crossing guard said her granddaughter watched the clip 3 times and now practices scales before cartoons. The night bus driver nodded once and said, "Heard you made quiet loud." In the cafe, the barista poured a heart into foam, then tried for a treble clef and laughed when it wobbled. Clara taped festival dates to the fridge beside a grocery list. Milk, rice, strings. Courage doesn't make life bigger, it makes it accurate. The city tuned itself and carried on. Closing night, Clara played a small piece for her mother. It began like a bus's gentle brake at 1 a.m., ended like a door opening. The room held its breath, then stood. Clara bowed, not to the story others wrote, but to the woman who had once knelt on marble and picked up someone else's mirror twice without breaking herself. Some loves are lessons, some lessons are loves. Both can tune you for the life you're meant to play. Build your stage, pick your audience. When mockery knocks, answer with a language it can't speak. Excellence, the room will meet you there. We've come to the end of our story. Till next time, bye.